What really breaks down collaboration between sales and marketing? And how do you fix it for real? In this week's episode, I am joined today by B2B strategist and author Pam Didner. She will reveal what happens when teams misalign, how to rebuild trust among team members, and why shared KPIs aren't enough. We're diving deep into the mindset, structure, and culture needed to make revenue teams actually work together and how AI will affect and change the way we collaborate. This is Strategy Talks. I'll be right back.
Let's strategize together. Let's hear it from an expert. Join the conversation, it's informative and free. You and me, let's talk some strategy. Now here's your host, Dorien Morin-van Dam.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Strategy Talks. I am so excited to be here today with Pam Didner, who we're going to talk about collaboration between sales and marketing. Yes, whether you're on team marketing or team sales or team revenue or team owner, I don't care. This is going to be amazing. I want to welcome all of you here live with us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and those of you who watch this show on a replay. Quite a few of you do that every week. Last but not least, I want to welcome those of you who listen to Strategy Talks as a podcast. We appreciate you. We see your numbers each and every week, and we're very excited that you take the time to listen to this podcast. So I'm going to introduce you to my friend Pam. Hey, Pam, how are you today?
Doreen, thank you so much for having me. Oh my God, I love that jingle. That's the first time I heard it. It was so cute.
I know. I love it too. My son wrote it, composed it, and sang it for me. And it's been on the show for almost 4 years. And it's not going to change right now. I love it. So, yes.
Mother and son collaboration. Exactly. All right. I like that a lot.
Yes. So, Pam, I'm going to go right into it, right?
Why?
Many companies keep sales and marketing teams away from each other. Whether that's by design or accident, I don't know. But this is what we're going to talk about today. Why they should be working together and how to do it in a way that feels good and yields results for all the teams. So before we dive in, why do you think it's 2025? Why is this still happening? Why are we doing this?
Well, I really think that sales and marketing, we all have a different mindsets. And sales tend to focus on the top of the funnel. Sales tend to focus on the middle of the funnel, and the marketing tend to focus on top of the funnel. And we tend to focus on more brand awareness and demand generation. And the sales is about, let's close the deals, right? So I think the mindset is a little bit different. And on top of it, the salespeople tend to, not we in terms of salespeople, I'm actually on the marketing side, I apologize. So the marketing people tend to focus on, let's build a relationship and that's nurture, right? Our prospect. And the salespeople, it's about relationship building as well. But at the same time, we can build a relationship, but at the same time, do you have a budget? Do you need the tools right now? Should we talk? They are more like a hunter's mindset, right? If they are hunting something, if it's not going anywhere, they are going to move to a different target. So I think the mindset and also how we approach the prospects tend to be a little bit different.
Do you also think that from the top down, C-suite influences how sales and marketing, whether they talk to each other and how they communicate? Do you think that still influences that?
Oh yeah, certainly. A lot of time, especially in any companies, doesn't matter if it's a small companies, mid-sized company, or enterprises. I think the C-suite's behavior does impact in terms of how worker bees like us behave. So if the VP of sales and also CMO or even CEO, they talk to each other all the time in a very close alignment, and you will see sales and marketing also in a close alignment. However, if the VP of sales and also CMO, they tend to do their own things, then you kind of see the two organizations do their own things. Yeah. And it's not necessarily good and bad, honestly. It really depends on the company culture. I have known several companies, especially on the manufacturing segments, that the sales and marketing, they don't really have, any kind of overlapping communications. But in the past 3 or 4 decades, they've been working pretty well, And but I also have noticed that with the digital marketing, right, nowadays everything is connected, right? Everybody's on the phone all the time. Right. And the customer journeys from one stage to another tend to be interlocked and interconnected. In certain segments, the sales and marketing collaboration really needs to happen. If it doesn't happen, it does create a gap in terms of a customer experience.
And it can impact revenue directly, correct?
100%. 100%. And a lot of time when you are looking at in terms of sales, and you know this pretty well, you have the prospect coming to the door, right? And then the marketing probably will do the initial qualification. Then you move on to, you pass that baton on the sales side, and then the sales schedule the meeting. But every single touch point, there's always a chance that prospect is not going to convert. And so you have to really understand between the transition from the sales to marketing, and also even from marketing to marketing or sales to sales, how can we keep that conversation and engagement going?
Yeah, that is so good. It's so important. So I've kind of done some research on the things that you talk about. And one of the things you've spoken about is that marketing needs to adopt a mindset of helping sales win.
Yes.
Right. And then in your experience with doing that, what's the most counterintuitive thing that you've seen marketing do that actually inhibited sales rather than help them? And how did you flip it?
That's a great question. I don't know if it's the counterintuitive things that they do. It's more or less kind of like, I would say, the mindset that you need to have. I indicated that a little earlier. It has something to do with, like, okay, we have a list of a marketing content. If we created a blog post, we created an ebook, and we actually have a podcast, kind of like what you have. We have tons of content on the marketing side. And the marketers probably know for all these pieces of content, how does that fit into the customer journey? Okay, it's probably very intuitive for a lot of marketers. But when you share the content, a lot of time the salespeople will say, you know what? I'm sending an email out. They don't talk that way, but I do. We're sending an email out. I need some content to attach to part of my email. And that's great. But the thing is, instead of sending the salespeople a list of a marketing content, why don't you classify the contents that you have into a sales stages? Not customer journey, but sales stages. How the salespeople actually move for their prospect alone. Is that helpful? So classify the content in the way they understand.
Oh, that's even better.
That's right. So you build kind of like a little table. It's a cheat sheet. A lot of times, some of the companies actually have the sales content management library. So in the sales content management library, you can identify different sales stages to tag it for all your content pieces. But sometimes you don't have that. If you don't have it, can you create a little cheat sheet for your salespeople and said, hey, if you are doing this, these are the type of content you should use. If you are doing that, these are the type of content you can use. So give them a little bit of guidance actually helps tremendously.
That's wonderful. And I'm thinking, I'm a content strategist, so I'm thinking frequently asked questions. How do we work with you? And research that we've done, case studies, right? If you put them in the right space, then the sales managers or the salespeople could just grab that and attach it, and then they own it too. Because that's the other thing that I'm hearing you say. Instead of marketing serving it up and saying, "Here you go," if it's available to a sales team and they get trained on that or they have that cheat sheet available, they can make the choices and then they'll start seeing results from giving the right prospect the right content, I'm assuming.
Yeah. And then nowadays you can even use ChatGPT or AI bot to help you, right? You can actually have a list of a content, upload it, the content into a ChatGPT or even AI bot, and it just basically specify, what is your recommendation? You can ask AI. You have your own point of view, definitely, right?
Yeah.
You can also ask AI. So how would you structure? How would you recommend in terms of how these different pieces of content fit into a different sales stages? Of course, you have to share and articulate your sales stages with the ChatGPT or AI bot and see what is their recommendations. And at the same time, have your own point of view, right? Not just take what AI said blindly, but have your own point of view and make adjustment. And hopefully by doing that, it saves you tons of time instead of classifying and thinking it through.
That makes a lot of sense. So Pam, we're talking about businesses, brands, B2B, maybe even B2C that have sales teams.
Sure.
Is there a difference between having a small team? I've been on teams where I'm the only marketer. I've been on teams where, they have only one or two salespeople, but then there's teams where,
hundreds.
Yeah. Hundreds. Is there a difference in how you would facilitate if you go into a company and you help them make that connection? Is there a difference in how you facilitate or how you would move that along between a small team and a large company that has lots of people?
So the way I usually address that is for smaller team, if you are 1 or 2 person marketing team and you are supporting, say, 10 salespeople, if you think about that, the ratio is really 2 to 10 or 1 to 10. So that's very manageable. However, most of the time, even in the bigger enterprises, the number of the salespeople versus the number of marketing people, it tend to be much bigger sales team versus small a headcount of the marketing team. That's always the case.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever run into any organization that they actually have a marketing headcount that's bigger than sales headcount. Never.
I don't think so either.
Never. So usually the bigger sales team and a smaller marketing team.
Yeah.
So the way I usually look at it is the ratio between the two.
Okay.
Right. So if 1 to 10 or even 2 to 10, that means it's 1 to 5 ratio. That's not bad. But a lot of time in a bigger organization, it tends to be 1 to 80, for example. Does that make sense? Ooh. Seriously, it's a much bigger sales team and a smaller marketing organization. In that specific case, you have to think it through in terms of like, okay, if you are one marketing people and the ratio between one marketing versus sales on the sales side is substantially higher, there's no way you can support all the salespeople. What you need to do is kind of determine, you have to work well on the sales side, right? You need to determine in terms of, can you support them based on accounts? Instead of a number of salespeople, is it possible you can support the high revenue or high impact strategic accounts? That's number one. And number two is you have to scale. That's assume you are one person have to support the Southeast region of the 80 salespeople. Then you have to think through like the stuff that you share with them. Can that be standardized? Also, you can teach them how to fish. Right? A lot of time, trust me, I work with tons of salespeople. They were like, just give that to me. Oh, they don't talk that way. I do. So instead of giving them something, you can tell them, you give them something that's semi-standardized, and you have to tell them you need to actually make some modification. So because when you support that many salespeople, you cannot do customize all the time.
No.
So you have to think it through in terms of the number of the people you support and can you prioritize? That's number one. Or if you cannot prioritize and you have to support everyone, then you have to standardize it.
I love that answer. Oh, wow. That like my brain is thinking like I have a couple of clients. I'm like, oh my God, this is great. This is going to be really helpful. So let's talk AI. You wrote books about using AI, right? Generative AI is out there. How do you foresee the role of human sales marketer partnerships evolving with AI in there? Will there be collaboration between sales, marketing, and AI? Will it be better? Will it be worse? What's happening? You've got your books right there behind you.
Yeah.
The Modern AI Marketer. let's talk AI and sales and marketing teams.
Yeah. So first of all, I just want everybody to know that I write small books. This is like only 100 pages. And the way I tell people about reading this book is you can read this book and watch Netflix at the same time.
Does it have a good index? People can scan it.
Yeah, you just like, you know what? And everybody was like, what chapter should I read? I was a 4, 5, and 6. That's it.
Okay. Well, that's great. I wish I had a book. I don't have a book yet, so I totally admired that. That's awesome.
It's a lot of work. Trust me, it's not worth it.
You didn't hear that here. No, we don't want to.
I mean, it's not worth of spend so much time writing it. That's my point.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So
now let's come back to
sales
AI.
marketing. Yes.
Yeah.
How do we integrate that? Is it causing a divide? Is it bringing people together? How can we use it? And how is somebody that's a CMO, that's an owner that's watching this, listening to this and saying, we're bringing in the AI tools. We want our teams to be closer. What are things that we have to be careful about that we don't do?
Very good question. So there's a couple things I want to say. First of all, remember, I always come back to a mindset. From my perspective, everything we do, we need to have a certain kind of mindset. And for AI, I always encourage my clients have the mindset of like, if you have any questions, go ask ChatGPT first. That's the mindset. By the way, I'm not asking you to rely on ChatGPT. Remember nowadays, whenever we have questions in the past 10 years, where do we go? Google. Right?
Google.
Like best restaurant near me, you Google. And or you have like, what is ABM? You Google, right? So what I want my clients to do, or any one of you who are listening, is change that mindset a little bit. Instead of Googling, can you also go to ChatGPT and ask the same question? I'm not asking you to rely on ChatGPT heavily. No, I'm only asking you to change your mindset, change your behavior a little bit. If you are intimidated by it, that's the first step. Okay. But if you are using it every single day and the ChatGPT or AI buys your BFF, okay, fine. Your mindset's already changed. Great.
Yeah.
The number 2 is I want to make sure everybody understand, and I heard this from Andy Christina, and I think it's great. The answers provided by bot are recommendations. They are not panacea. Please don't take everything they said as if like, yes, it's true. No, it's not. You need to have a point of view. You need to have a point of view. You need to be able to read it and have it, then be able to judge. It was like, okay, this is somehow on the right track or it's completely off. That's number 2. So number 3 is don't blindly copy and paste. Please don't do that. Even though you are asking ChatGPT to write an email and you said in Pam Didner's tone and voice, that's great. When you read it, see it as a first draft and you need to edit it. Sometimes it is very good.
I'm going to add to that. You need to push back. I just did a newsletter on LinkedIn and I've uploaded like 20 newsletters in my own voice. And I've used it, it's like the newsletter bot that I use. And, I pick a topic. I say, this is what I want to talk about. And today it spit out something that was not sounding like Dorien at all. I'm like, you know what? This is not good. You go back and you read all the instructions and all the old newsletters and make it sound like me. I don't mind doing editing because I will do editing, but this is not me at all. And it was like, oh, you're right. So
I had just share exactly a similar story. And when I was writing this book, I really want to be lazy. I don't want to write this book. I was like, that's too much work. And actually hired a developer. I'm not kidding. I paid this developer like money. And I said, you and I are going to work on the prompts together. And we are going to upload tons of my stuff. I want AI to write this book because I'm going to say the author is AI. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, yeah, whatever. So we tried for 4 days. Like, really try different prompts, try different things, uploaded different files, and we tried We did AI agents. We also did various of LLMs, and forget it.
It didn't sound
It's
like
not,
you at
it
all.
doesn't work.
No.
So I have come to realize that I am the one still have to put the skeleton of the book together. I need to do the outline, but they are very good editing, say a paragraphs at a time.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of like the whole book or even a very specific chapter, not so much. Not my standard, because they can write. I mean, I'm not saying AI cannot write, but the problem is they put so many flowery words together. When you read it, there's no substance.
Right.
You are the writer. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and you need to
There's a
put
bunch of
in your
words.
own
They add it
yeah.
together. It sounds like, oh my God, it sounds like, oh, they know stuff. And then you read it, you're like, what? This is the emperor without clothes.
I know. You need to write a book about that next. That sounds like a great book to read. Oh, I love that. That sounds like a wonderful experiment. So, AI using Teams. So, when you go in and you do trainings for sales and marketing teams,
Yes.
I'm just curious. I don't know the answer. Do you help them set up bots? Do you tell them to share bots? Do you how do you tell them to share tools?
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you do to help them move forward and that AI can help them with?
Great question. Most of my AI training is 100% customized and tailored based on that company's needs. So in general, I have conversations with the CMOs and also the marketing directors, and they will tell me specifically in terms of how they are using AI or not using AI this time. And then I will build the AI training based on that. And like many enterprises, the only AI tool they can use is Copilot. They cannot even use ChatGPT. They can only use Copilot. But for Copilot is embedded into Microsoft Office suite. So if you actually have a paid version of it, you will see Copilot as a part of Excel. You will see Copilot on the upper right-hand corner as a part of PowerPoint or as a part of Outlook. And a lot of time, the marketers, they don't know how to use like Copilot in every single application. Then my job is kind of like show them how they can use that effectively. That's number one. Number two is in my current training that I'm doing, is still very much focused at the individual level, like how everyone can prompt effectively, what you can use the, say, Copilot more effectively within the Microsoft Office applications. So there's still a lot of that, kind of trying to get themselves ramp up. And then, of course, now everybody's ramp up, then you can look at the AI at the team level. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Then you have to look into, okay, can you create agents yourself? And if the agents you create are very good, can that be shared within the team? That will be the next level. And then, of course, the level after that is you look into the workflows, and then you create agents to do certain tasks and automate that workflow. That's the next level. So there's multiple stages, but at this point, many organization is still at the first phase and a little bit on the second phase.
Yeah. And I have a side question for you, because this
Sure.
was fascinating to me. That I was at a conference this summer, and they had a panel about AI, and somebody threw out the statistics that 70% of employees are bringing AI to work, and that a lot of employers have no idea because they have ChatGPT on their phone in their pocket and they're using it for work. They don't have AI policies surrounding that. When you do these trainings, is that what you find? You're focusing on the individual, and do people confess like, oh yeah, I'm already using it, I have it on my phone? Or do you really go into, this is for the brand, this is how we do it, and put that phone away kind of thing?
Yeah, so it really depends on companies. There are many companies that the company cultures are very conservative. So if you work for companies which are very conservative, you know that you cannot cross the line. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So in that situation, a lot of employees will say, we don't have a policy yet. And the company kind of say, we cannot use it. And they don't use say ChatGPT work related. They still do it for personal usage.
Right.
And any company that basically said you can only use Copilot, they already have an AI policy in place. Because they say you cannot use anything else, you can only use Copilot. And many enterprises actually initiated and have a conversation with employees or send out a newsletter and let everybody know that they can only use Copilots. And I have at least 5 companies reach out to me and say, can you do AI trainings for us? The only tool we can talk about is Copilot, nothing else.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So it depends on the companies. And my thought is you kind of know what kind of company you work for and with, and in terms of corporate culture, and you can make a gauge in terms of should you do it or should you not. So
that makes a lot of sense. So I have one last question before we wrap up. We're already at 25 minutes. I could talk to you for another hour, but here it is. If marketing and sales had to switch roles for one quarter, same goals, same tools, same internal pressure, what do you think each team would finally appreciate about the other that they're missing right now? Because sales think they're the bomb because they make sales. Marketing think they're the bomb because they, do the nurturing. What do you think would happen if sales and marketing teams for a whole quarter were to switch?
Yeah. I think they will find that both sides jobs are kind of challenging in their own ways. Like, can you imagine marketers close deals and they have to meet quarterly and a monthly quota? I think that's going to stresses marketing people out. They were like, what? I only have 30 days and I have to meet that revenue target. Oh my God. And then the salespeople on the other side was like, I don't understand. It should not be that hard to write this blog post, right? I don't know why it's taking you guys 5 days to write it. And then when they started writing, they were like, I don't know what to say. You know what I'm saying? So I think have them swapped, not necessarily a bad things, but you will kind of have a chance to feel the pinpoints of each other. And hopefully by doing that, and we will not do that in the real life, but understanding that will actually help them to work closely together.
That makes sense. Awesome. So Pam, where can people connect with you if somebody wants AI training, if they want to know more about what you do, and if they're like, oh my gosh, I'm on a sales team and I don't really have any idea what marketing does, or I'm on a marketing team and I really need to make one of these, checklists for my sales team. How can people connect with you and where can they find you? Where are you visible online?
I'm actually on every single channel, including TikTok. So I do my dance. All right. I'm kidding. I don't dance.
I was going to go. I'm going to go right to TikTok.
I don't dance. I'm not very good at it. I try. All right. And I don't mind embarrassing the heck out of myself. Long story short is I'm on every single channel, and I'm probably most active on LinkedIn, like other business professionals, and I'm also have my own website, so you can reach out to me like on my website, or you can reach out to me on LinkedIn or any other channels, honestly. And the bottom line is I know how hard it is to be a marketer. I do. And I also know how challenging it is to be a salesperson. If you need a therapy session, just reach out to me on LinkedIn. We can talk. And you can also chat with me, like send me an email, and I'm more than happy to address any questions that you have.
Awesome. And I know that you also speak at conferences. Is there any upcoming conferences that you're going to be at that people could potentially find you?
Yeah, I do a lot of private enterprises training. So if you need that, reach out to me anytime. I will be at B2B forum in November, and there's a B2B MX in March. There are other conferences right now I'm in the process of discussing, and hopefully if you sign up for my newsletter, or if you follow me and connect with me on LinkedIn, you will see where I will be.
Perfect. I'll make sure to link everything in the show notes so that you can connect with Pam. Thank you so much for staying with us all the way to the end. I appreciate all of you being here. Pam, thank you for your time today and your expertise. I love this conversation. I'll be back next week with another episode of Strategy Talks. Bye.
Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.